Hello and welcome. We are the Montalvo House, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is restoring recorded Texas Historic Landmark 3440, a two-room cedar post and caliche home that was constructed in 1887. This video shows how this home was constructed utilizing what are still sustainable and local materials. This is a photo of how the house looks today, sporting its restored cedar shingle roof and the other restoration efforts that we have made over the past years. The home received its recorded Texas Historic Landmark status in 1979 and received this plaque from the Texas Historic Commission. The reason for its historic significance is the architectural style and construction. It is one of few remaining cedar post and caliche buildings, as most were torn down for more modern construction. The home was constructed 130 years ago by Ildefonso and Guadalupe Montalvo. They raised 9 children in this home and associated property. They began by picking a site on the original land grant, which was comprised of 256 acres. It was acquired by a land bounty grant to Francisco Salinas for his service in the storming of Bear, the first of the 4 engagements of the Texas War of Independence that culminated in the Battle of the Alamo. They chose a site that was nice and flat and also had a hand-built rock well that predates the house. Imagine how valuable water was to humans, horses, and wagons, considering we are located on the cusp of the Chihuahuan Desert. Once they had their site, then a trench was dug in a perfect square. The trench was approximately 4 feet deep by 2 feet wide. If you were local to our area, you would know just how difficult it is to hand dig a trench that deep in our caliche-based landscape. Our ground is hard. Then they harvested cedar posts to make the walls. Cedar grows in abundance in southwest Texas and further south in Mexico. The posts they chose were incredibly symmetrical and chosen with great care, and they average approximately 8 inches in diameter and 10 feet in height. Then they took the cedar posts and placed them upright in the trench, cementing them into the trench with cactus juice and caliche, our term for ground limestone. As you can see, building a symmetrical wall is no easy task, as our first attempt clearly illustrates. Once the cedar posts were placed within the trench, then to solidify the wall, they began placing 1-inch wide, hand-cut lathing strips on each side of the wall, filling in any gaps and spaces with a combination of rock, dirt, and sand. Our organization did much the same when we restored the interior of the southern walls, as the owner of the home in the 1970s removed all of the original lathing strips from these walls. To complete the walls, they next needed to provide the wall with a smooth surface. To accomplish this, they used what is called caliche and/or lime plaster. We need to mention that if just ground limestone or caliche, as shown in this photograph, were used in the plaster mixture, their walls would not have been water retardant, which certainly would not make sense on exterior walls. So, to make a plaster that would withstand wind and rain, another form of limestone was used. This type of limestone is currently referred to as Type S lime. Type S lime is made by baking limestone in a kiln to a very high temperature. When this is done, the limestone pulverizes into a powder, and this powder has silicate properties, which is what makes it water retardant. The ruins of the quarry kiln that serves southwest Texas is located in Del Rio, Texas, 32 miles away. So the Montalvos would have sent their horse-drawn wagon to this site to acquire this precious lime. Of interest is that there are lime kilns such as these located around the world, as construction of this form has been in existence for over 3,000 years. With either their caliche and or type S lime in hand, the next ingredient for their plaster was fermented cactus juice. Cactus was gathered from around the property and or surrounding area using fire to burn off cactus thorns to save the workers' hands. Then the cactus was chopped up and placed into a tub filled with water. Here are some of our local volunteers using machetes for this messy job. The tub was filled about halfway up with chopped cactus. Then water was added to the brim. Next, the workers used our hot southwest sun for 3 to 5 days to ferment the cactus mixture. The result was that what was water became a heavy viscous fluid that is as sticky as Elmer's glue. At that point, all of the cactus was removed, leaving the precious fluid. We would like to note that during winter months, when the sun is not as hot, plaster artisans could use wood fires to heat the water in cactus, bringing the water in cactus to a rapid boil. We have actually used outdoor propane cookers in mid-January weather, making the same viscous fluid in just about 20 minutes with a rapid boil. We use it to mix with plain caliche as an instant cement. It works fantastic for setting fence poles. One final element of caliche and or lime plaster is a bonding agent. First layers, or what is referred to as wattle and daub, use straw. Upper layers used goat or horsehair. Now the master plaster artisan had everything they needed: fermented cactus juice, sand, his bonding element, and caliche and or lime, or sometimes a mixture of both. A chemist at heart, now the master plasterer was ready to apply plaster to the walls, usually ending up with at least 3 to 5 layers of plaster per wall. The mixture and quantities of sand versus cactus juice versus caliche versus binding agents such as straw and or goat's hair depends upon the type of wall that you are making. The first layer of wattle and daub, for instance, will have lots of straw to make it bond to the lathing strips. As layers progress, the binding agents refine, such as using goat's hair or horsehair. In a fireplace, cactus juice, sand, caliche, and cow manure is used to create a firebox plaster that is actually resistant to fire and heat. So this was how recorded Texas Historic Landmark 3440 was constructed in 1887, 130 years ago. We have completed restoration on the roof, foundation, and interior walls. We are currently raising funding for the restoration of the exterior walls, window and doors, and front and back porch. We host a lime plaster workshop 2 times per year, teaching this wonderful dyeing art to all interested parties. Lime plaster is a natural bug retardant, offers natural insulation, and provides a beautiful patina for any wall. It is also a highly sustainable form of construction using local materials. Visit our website at www.themontalvohouse.org for more information and our schedule of events. The Montalvo House is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is utilizing the restoration of recorded Texas Historic Landmark 3440 as a springboard for 2 primary educational efforts: sustainable building technologies and sustainable food supplies through our farm-to-table organic market and educational organic farm, which is currently under development. Thanks for coming, and if you like this video, please consider visiting our donation page on our website. Even the smallest contribution helps our efforts and will go to good use, teaching, restoring, and serving our community.